What's up, fisher people? We're on the water looking to mark some fish near the banks. Purposefully picked a nice cool morning when these frogs are likely, that looks like big fish, when these frogs are likely going to be getting into the water because it's cold outside, the water's warmer, and it's also getting to be fall time where they're getting close to wanting to hibernate. And the fish will come into these bays near these muddy shorelines, either grabbing the frogs as they come in from the shore or rooting them out of the mud, even in the winter. Now the strategy here is, first of all, don't lose your frog, because these things are not easy to handle. And I got a fairly large one here. I got like three medium-sized ones. There's a medium size, a big like bullfrog looking thing, and one pretty tiny one. The tiny one I'd probably put on a jig. These medium ones I'm gonna hook through the top lip, keep their mouth open so they can breathe and stay alive a little longer. And then I got a little stinger hook on there that I might put in the back leg just in case a walleye gets a back leg on one of these guys. And ooh, he is strong. I'll be honest, this is not something I've done before. I've heard about it, I've talked to people who've done it, I've read about it, I understand why. Last year in this very lake, my dad and brother and I caught some walleyes in here, cleaned them, and found frogs inside their bellies. So I know, oh, that guy got out. That's why I put him in the second bucket. So I know plenty of species eat these things, walleyes included. Question is, can we actually catch one? And I think my plan is going to be, if I feel a bite, I think I'm going to open the bail. It's a pretty big meal. I'm going to treat it kind of like a creek chub, let them chew on it a little bit, and then close the bail. If I feel the weight, reel down and give it kind of a sweeping hook set and hope that we're connected. I got an 1/8 ounce little bullet sinker above it just to get it down. The frog's going to be doing a lot of swimming down there, I imagine, himself, but yeah, we're doing it, Harry. Better get tighter to the bank. And normally fishing this time of year, if I'm looking for a shallow bite, I'm trying to be close to deep water. But for this frog bite, it doesn't necessarily have to be true, because the frogs are typically going to be in these shallow, muddy bays. So my hope is this is going on, the walleyes have figured it out, and they've started to come into these muddy, shallow bays in the morning looking for these things. And I'm sure I could get a pike or a muskie on one of these. So I got 3 of these rigs tied up in spare as well, just in case. Well, no bites yet. I quickly realized that 1/8 ounce was not enough weight. Once that frog kind of stopped swimming and got a little tired of this game, he went to floating, and he was floating the weight up. So now we got a 1/4 ounce worth, but I don't see my marks here anymore. Like once it hit like 8 o'clock, the fish were gone. I'm a little surprised we didn't get a quick bite right away while they were here, unless they're just not doing this thing yet. It could be too early in the season. We might need to wait a week. Pulling in some weeds. That's where they should be though. They should be in those weeds. I'm torn between fishing the outside weed edge versus the inside weed edge. Like I saw those fish on the outside weed edge, but the frogs probably wouldn't be there. So if they were looking for a frog bite, you'd think they'd be inside weed edge on the bank. So I better keep casting and hope there's fish up there. I can't really see the fish on my side scan. The weeds are too thick. So it's just a guessing game, but this works better when that frog's a little more alive. Once I get in slightly deeper water, I can at least keep the frog submerged. But yeah, once the frog kind of like gets over the game and doesn't do a lot of swimming, the bait doesn't work as good. And he's just kind of rolling belly up, which is probably not super helpful. Can't keep the frog down. I shouldn't have slip sinkers. I should have the sinkers fixed. I will say the one nice thing though is this frog stays on. I should probably tie another little piece of line right above those sinkers to fix them. I like the slip sinker idea in the sense that I could open the bail and then not feel the weight, work it like a Lindy rig, but if I can't keep the frog down, it doesn't really matter. Know what I mean? All right, I basically tied like a little bobber stop above it to keep the weight fixed. Hopefully that doesn't weaken my line by having that on there. And it looked like the sinkers went right through it anyway. So that might not have helped. Well, I don't really like the idea of having double swivels. It's probably a pretty weak setup. But I don't have the right equipment on the boat to do anything else. This might be something I have to fine tune. Well, now that we've got our presentation somewhat more dialed in, probably gonna have to try to find a new spot. I don't know if that was the frog wiggling or a fish wiggling, but I decided to open the bail. It looks like a mark down here under the boat. I was just kind of dead sticking it for a minute around these fish and letting it sit. That must have been the frog deciding to move. All right. This is one of the spots where I actually caught one of the frogs. So that's a good theory, right? And I spooked a few out of there that I missed, that jumped in the water. So, you know, there has been frogs jumping in the water here recently. Steep drop here, flattens out here, weed bed on the flat. So walleyes could be sitting in the deep, come up here, grab frogs. That's the theory. I'm gonna dead stick that one on the weed edge and hook this smaller one up on a jig and try that. Tinier little guy. I only have one little frog, 3 medium frogs and a real big guy. I'll save the real big guy till I see if this actually works. And the frog came off. Wow, that was a good experiment. All right. Trying a fresh frog that's got a little more kick to him. Oh, fish. Oh, he just got off. No. Oh, we had one. 2 slashes, anything? Was that a smallie? Oh, what was that? Should I have waited longer? Oh no. I felt a classic thumb bite like a jig and a minnow. And I just opened the bail, waited a little bit, set the hook. He was there. Was it a smallie? Was it a walleye? I don't know. I don't know. But it was a fish. Can we get it to bite again? I mean, that was like 2 feet from the bank when that fish bit. Okay, we had another take. It's about 3 seconds. There's the fish going. I can see the line starting to tighten up. How long do we wait? How long do we wait? I better wait longer. Fish is still swimming. Fish is still swimming. Got him. It's a smallmouth bass. Oh, we just flipped the frog off too. What a turd. What a turd. We did catch a frog fish though. How many hooks does he have in him? I better net him. I don't want to get myself all stung by hooks. It's not a walleye, but we caught our first live frog fish anyway. And he had the front hook too, not the stinger, so we successfully allowed him to swallow that. Frogfish. I'm gonna go back to our old tired frog and see if that works now that we have biting fish, before I use my medium-sized frog. Like I said, all I got is one more medium-sized and then a massive one. So, and I want to know if it was important that that frog was moving or not, or if they will eat it either way. And after I got that other fish unhooked, I went and looked back in the water. I did not see the other floating frog. My guess is another smallie took care of that. I should get way more frogs than 5 to work with, but well, either a fresh frog is important, or I haven't put the bait in front of another fish yet. I just want to get a bite on the bloated frog. Then I would know whether or not I can keep using them or if I need to reload. Because if you need to have a fresh frog all the time, then I would need way more frogs, because this guy was probably only good for about an hour. Now, in theory, you get on a really good bite, you can catch a fish within an hour, but well, I lost my other intermediate frog, so we're down to the big croaker, which is kind of hard to work. So this is more of a sit and soak operation. Get him out there, give him some rope, let him swim, hope for the best, and I'll just pitch a swim bait in the meantime for something else to do. Swim bait can catch fish too, obviously. Oh, that smallie's burying himself in the weeds. Get out of the weeds, fish. And now get out of my other line. Ooh, big jump. Big jumper. How come you wouldn't bite the frog up there, huh? Gotcha. That big frog really swims that thing around. He's almost doing circles around the boat. Hopefully because something's chasing him. In fairness, the walleye bite on that lake kind of stunk in general the entire fall. Matter of fact, I went back there 2 weeks later to try this whole thing again. Got there before sunrise, and I was gonna try to catch them on anything I could before trying the frog thing, just to see if I could get walleyes to bite, and after 3 hours, I left with 0 action. So I don't know, maybe I just suck at fishing. I mean, I never claimed to be a professional. Cut that part. Edit! So why did I end up making and posting this video anyway? Well, I thought the footage of catching frogs on camera was pretty sick, to be honest. I was pretty excited about that. And sometimes I think it's cool just to post a video that didn't work out, especially if there's something educational or something worthwhile learning in that video. And, you know, I learned a bunch of stuff about how you can at least use frogs and attempt to catch walleyes, and I know the fact that walleyes do eat them, and I know this is possible, so hopefully that's helpful. And maybe I should have played the long game. Maybe I should have saved the footage, tried it again the following season, rolled it all into one video, but that's like 12 months of waiting. Also, it's still open water footage, and it's something to do while waiting for ice out on Sakakawea, which is right around the corner, by the way. So stick around, because it's going down soon. So fishing with frogs is not a weird thing for bass. People have heard of that a lot. But not a lot of people know that walleyes will eat these things too. And that is exactly what we are going to attempt tomorrow. Frog walleyes. Frog walleyes.